Hello and welcome to Winfield's week of Rugby League, and what a week it was. Of course, it was our 13th cup final down at Leichhardt when Parramatta took the cup away from the defending champions Balmain in one of the most polished displays of Rugby League we've seen in a final from Parramatta. In fact, it was the highest scoring margin we've seen in the 13-year history. On top of that, a mighty fine Commonwealth Bank Cup final and the trophy going home to Campbelltown, to St Gregory's College out there. On Saturday, well, it was the Bears versus the Steelers, and the Steelers were to the fore. And then on Sunday at the stadium, Canterbury taking use of that particular ground while they had some lighting foundations laid over at Belmore. It was Canterbury to play Balmain, and the defending premiers were in for one hell of a shock. But it's first things first as normal, and we go back to Leichhardt for our 13th cup final. Well, hello and welcome to the 1986 National Panasonic Cup Final, and what a night we have in store for you. In fact, tonight is our 13th Cup Final, and how one is reminded of how time flies. It seems like only yesterday that Western Division were etching their names into Rugby League history with their victory over Penrith back here in '74. And down through the years, the domination of eastern suburbs through the '70s, and more recently, the Manly and the Brisbanes of the early '80s. And of course, we find tonight Balmain defending their cup title so proudly. The winner, of course, this year takes home $131,000, and the runners-up, $91,000. Naturally, with the Tigers playing at Leichhardt, their home ground, promoters assured of a magnificent crowd, and being the opponents tonight, the biggest puller of crowds in the game, of course, Parramatta have lended plenty of blue and gold to the tally out there tonight. Let's have a look at the Eels lineup for tonight, and significantly strengthened compared with the one on Sunday. It's Delroy, Jackson, Muggleton, Ella, Eden, Kenny, Sterling, Price, Laurie, Wynn, Lee Beater, Mosley and Bugden. They're coached by John Money. The Balmain team, as Graham indicated, it's been good news for them today. Jack, Gartner, Schofield, Gale, Davidson, Myler, Bridge, Pearce, Brooks, Siren and Hemsley, Elias and Roach in the front row, and they're coached by Frank Stanton. So the stage well and truly set now for our cup final. Parramatta boasting, I think, something like 4 players from their cup final team in 1980. Those players probably are Wynn, Kenny, Sharp on the bench, Sterling. Price didn't play in that cup final. In fact, Michael Patterson was in the team. Davidson and Wayne Pearce probably would be the sum total of the tape for Balmain. Muggleton kicks off and puts the cup final underway for 1986. Gary Jack comes away. Tackled by Mosley, Bugden and Sterling. Brooks now.
There are a number of players that have gone into this match under injury clouds, and there's no doubt that if they have, and they're a tall suspect, they'll be found out in this first quarter.
The kick is coming for the Tigers. Bridge placing it nicely between Delroy and Jackson. So Jackson with no alternative but to take it from dummy half. Outside the 22, in fact, reaching about the 25. Sterling. Oh, required to pass a long ball. Kenny now. They lost ground. Peter Wynn. Oh, solid shoulder charge by Hemsley. That would have rattled up Peter Wynn. Sterling. That came off the hand of a Balmain player. Bridge tackled. Leibeta went in with a swinging arm. Brooks came over the top and gave him one back for his corner. In fact, it wasn't Leibeta. Let me take that back immediately. I think it was Peter Wynn. It was. He went in with a swinging arm. He caught Bridge, and then Brooks came over the top and said, "Thank you, cop this." Bingo. Rather uncustomary action from Peter Wynn. Wayne Pearce standing there alongside David Brooks. Pearce said to me 3 times, the last 3 times we've played Balmain, they've got Parramatta, that is, have got an early shot in and scored a very quick try. He said that's something we have to control tonight. We have to keep them out and do something like Canterbury and Manly have been able to do. So Balmain gets the penalty, and Gary Schofield will take the kick for goal from 40 metres out. About 20 metres in from the Robinson stand side of the ground. I was in the Balmain dressing room, in fact, when Keith Barnes, the Balmain secretary and a former co-commentator for me on this cup final, produced the balls for Schofield and asked him for his vote of approval. I doubt that Gary Schofield knew that he was talking to one of the all-time great kickers at the time. That kick from Schofield left the boot nicely. Oh, it's a champion kick. That's a Bobby Dazzler of a kick for Schofield. 2-0 the Tigers. Peter Wynn. 8 metres into Balmain's area. Laurie. Well, he had the arm free. I'm not so sure that Parramatta shouldn't have got a penalty there. Ray Price was, in my opinion, held back by a Balmain player. 5 tackles gone for the Blue and Golds. Sterling puts up the high kick. Gary Jacks under it. Brett Kenny had to weave a passage around the Balmain players. But it's held in goal. Stands his mark. And a 22 tap to restart for Balmain. There's the Foster's Lager replay. Seems to be a huge gap between Sterling and Kenny. Twice it's been...
I think what Balmain are trying to do is to open up that area in the Balmain defence. If they stand wide, you'll find the Balmain defences stand wide with them. They're obviously looking to use a short ball off Sterling to get inside of mile of the Balmain 5'8".
Win, short ball. Jackson! He's got 7 metres to go! It's a try! No, it's not! He's in a touch! Very, very close. As Jackson flirted with the danger of the sideline, he got around Russell Gardner. Jack came across, and even from that camera angle, it's impossible to tell, but the touch judge ruled that a foot went over the touchline prior to that corner post going. Parramatta have the ball. Jackson plays it back to Sterling. Price now, and this is Kenny. Kenny decides to go for broke. He's tackled about 9 metres out from the line. Muggleton from dummy half. Muggleton! 2 metres out from the line. Sterling. Now it's that giant of a man, Jeff Bugden. Bugden scores for Parramatta, the first try of the cup final. This was how it happened. Sterling held it back, and then Bugden took them on. Brute strength took him across the line.
The Balmain defence held back near the try line and gave Bugden the opportunity. He absolutely charged onto this ball and steamed over for the 4-pointer.
Well, just watching the replay, in fact, it's amazing how your mind works. There's Jeff Bugden, 25 years of age, an owner of a gymnasium these days, former Rothmans medalist. I was thinking to myself how Roy Simmons scored that try at Lang Park the other night. Sterling, I think, could have done it himself. Here's Mike Eden, the man that I thought should have been brought on at some stage last Sunday for Parramatta. He himself a Rothmans medalist. So will the 2 medalists put the first points on the board for Parramatta? There's the kick, and it's successful from Mike Eden. Parramatta lead Balmain 6 points to 2. Bridge to work it. It's the second time Bridge has beaten Sterling. Here's Davidson. Price comes out of the scrum. He misses. Pearce has got him. Inside for Steve Ella to come up with the football. He throws a pass out the back for Laurie, and Mark Laurie is tackled near the halfway. Bridge working it. And the scrum one against the feet. In fact, I think that's the second, is it not? And there's Steve Ella. 5 metres into Balmain's area. This is forward. That's the first against the feed, but they've got the possession back. Benny Elias raked forward in the play of the ball and got possession back for his team.
Good work by Elias. It's something that hookers used to make a specialty of. We don't see all that much of it of late, but a job well done to win possession at a vital point.
I'll tell you something that might be going unnoticed, but Ray Price is tackling unbelievably at the moment. He is chopping down half-pie scoring attempts. He's cutting them off around about ankle height. They're copybook Price tackles that I'm watching here tonight. Bridge. Much. He obviously will say to Mr. Perpetual Motion, Ray Price, who, as I told you earlier in his testimonial year, has already parcelled up the National Panasonic Superstar points. He could not be run down. And Brett Kenny goes in for the second try of the Cup Final, and Parramatta lead by 10 points to 2.
A great effort.
Mark Eden taking the attempted conversion. And he's missed it. Hit the uprights and bounced back. 10-2 in favour of the Eels. That's the scoreline. National Panasonic Cup Final, 1986. So in a rugby league team, you're supposed to have 6 backs, or 7 backs, I should say. Parramatta now have got, I think, the grand total of about 4, have they not? 5 at a pinch.
They're pretty good ones, the ones they've got.
Kenny coming off Laurie. Sterling. Bugden's inside him. Muggleton. They've got numbers on the outside and the inside. Jackson in a race now with Pearce, and Davidson's there to... Oh, Davidson had a big swing. It was an air swing. It was left to Pearce to eventually force this ball. Have a look at this and we'll see what happens to Davidson. Jackson's coming along minding his own business. Jackson goes whooshka, misses it completely, and Pearce it is who forces the ball. Sterling, second scrum of the match won against the feed. Win.
Balmain under a lot of pressure here. Their defence is going to have to be able to withstand a tremendous amount of stress.
Lee Beater. 5 metres out from the Balmain line. 8 minutes of the second quarter to go. Mosley. 2 metres out on 4. Sterling. Away to Peter Wynn now. Out the back now for Jeff Bugden. Tackled on 5, 10 metres up. Centre ground. Sterling's to the blind side. Here he is. Little grubber by Sterling and taken by Gary Jack. Gary Jack with a good run. 22 metres. 25-metre run by Gary Jack.
And that was a very important run by Jack for Balmain. Balmain were in all sorts of trouble. They needed a relieving run. They got it. They could even do with another one.
Balmain's got the numbers out here. But the pass is ruled OK by Robert. Gartner, he beats the front rower. Comes to Ella. He beats Ella. He's got support in Myler. Myler. Tony Myler scores. Balmain's first try. 10 points to 6. And a big inhalation there by Kevin Roberts as the ball went quickly from the Gary Jack play the ball. Now there's a pass here that Parramatta are more than querying. They're claiming that it was forward. Roberts saw it in the run of play. You might have heard in my commentary, I checked myself, Roberts made a point of indicating he thought it was backwards. But Tony Myler The English 5'8" goes in to score Balmain's first try.
Well, such are the fortunes of football. Parramatta doing all of the attacking. Jack came up with the ball, made a break. That set them on the roll. Balmain shifted the ball quickly to the right-hand side. And there you have it, a try to get the Tigers back in the match.
1 from 1 for Schofield. That's the angle that Schofield has got from 25 metres out. And he's missed it. 10-6. No change. Parramatta leading Balmain. 3 tries in the cup final now. Sterling. Little kick by Sterling. Gary Jack a little bit deep. Sterling comes through, puts a kick in. Mosley comes up with it. Ray Price has the ball. And I don't know that Price knew it, but he had Steve Ella unmarked outside him. Peter Wynn now running in behind the play, the ball still going. Peter Wynn, it's a try. It's a try under the black and gold dot. Well, what a performance by Wynn. Had you have asked anybody at the ground 10 metres out will he score, they probably would have said no way. But he fought against the opposition so strongly. Benny Elias had him by the back of the shorts. Tony Myler thought he had him. Paul Sirenen, he also thought he had him. But Peter Wynn scores the try.
Put this try down to sheer determination and courage on the part of Peter Wynn. He could have been knocked off on any one of 3 or 4 occasions. He was caught just short of the line, reached out and planted it under the black dot.
Well, I said about this man on Sunday that nobody has had more downs in the game than Peter Wynn. And any joys, any remunerations that he gets out of the game, let me tell you, he's deserved. And there's the kick by Mike Eden, successful. The scoreline now boosted by Parramatta to lead by 16 points to 6, 4 minutes in front of half-time. Benny Elias penalised for packing with a loose arm, so now Parramatta, with about 25 seconds of the first half remaining, have this scoring opportunity at their disposal. Tap taken by Mosley. They hit the blind side, and this is Kenny. Kenny driven into the ground solidly by Gary Jack. Sterling. A long cutout pass finding Muggleton. Muggleton is 10 metres out. Sterling goes to dummy half, calls on Ella. Ella's with him. Sterling goes. Ella! Ella! Yes! The zip-zip man is in for his piece of the action, but held up. Roberts says held up in goal. 5 metres scrum. Well, that's a good piece of defence by whoever. Ella had a lot of vacant space to look at, but Gary Jack was the man who got him, rolled him over. That's a great piece of defence by Gary Jack as the players leave the field at half-time. Parramatta leading Balmain by 16 points to 6 and 3 tries to 1. All right, the viewers' golden tries for you now. I hope you had an entry in. Let's have a look and see how you went, because here are the tries now as judged by the Sydney and Brisbane press writers at a special function last Monday. Across the bridge, on it goes to Roach. The big man through one, on to Conlon. Oh, what a great pass! What a great pass! And into the in goal, scoring the try goes John Davidson. The ball goes across now from Cleo, through Cox, on from Hasler. It's gone out to Cochrane, cuts them out. Beautifully picked up by Bowstead, inside the 5 metres. Close goes in to score. Close scores in the corner. Every man and his dog is applying these go-slow tactics. This is Shearer. Gurr on his inside. Outside it goes for Shearer. Here they go again. Phil Blake puts the foot on the accelerator. And it's another manly try.
Yes, I've likened it to someone falls off a horse. The first thing you want to do or you like to do is get back on. So that's something we've been very keen to do.
Oh, here's trouble straight away for Tim Sheens. Brett Gale is down to the 22. He passed the ball too early, but they're still going to score. Yes, Naden. The West Centre, Ian Naden, has scored. Dummy half Alan Fowler. sprays it out to Brett Clark. He holds it back and gets out of one, out of another, out of another. It's a try. It's a try for the man of the match, Brett Clark. And he takes another 5 metres of ground with him. To the left for Sterling, now to Kenny. Cut out ball, Jackson ran onto it perfectly. He left that ball a little bit late. No, he didn't. Not according to Eric Growth, he didn't anyway. And Growth is in to score.
Schofield kicks off. Ray Price. It's the tackle count. Have a look how much work Balmain have had to do by comparison. 130 to 82. And Pearce, not surprisingly, topping the tackle count. Bugden. Lee Beater. Sterling. It's going very quickly towards the sideline. Russell Gardner decides I better let this go. It's a fine kick by Sterling, finding it 20 metres out. Balmain back on television on Sunday night against Canterbury from the stadium. Pearce. Yes, good work by Pearce, but Myler couldn't take it. And let's see where it's gone to. It's a knock-on. Just going back to the viewers' tries, I should have mentioned to you at the time, and forgive me for not, but all the correct entries went into a barrel. All the correct entries went into a barrel. That winner from Picnic Point, De Vries, or De Vries, was the first correct entry drawn out. Steve Ella. Kenny, a little bit of a stutter, then a dash through an opening, floats the pass out for Eden. Eden's tackled about 8 metres out from the line. Jackson, Ella decides to go himself, but he's tackled there by David Brooks. We're 5 metres from the line. They've only used a couple of tackles. It's out to Sterling and across now to Laurie. His right ankle heavily bandaged. Gets the pass out to Sterling. He swings it across to Kenny. Big dummy, cuts out Myler. The ball bouncing badly, but picked up by Ford. And Ford is tackled about 3 metres out from the line. So Parramatta throwing it around. Here's Big Bugden going for another chop at that sideline. Try line, I should say. Here he is playing it back to Mosley. 4 tackles gone. Grubber kick by Sterling. Hemsley goes in to try and take it. He does. And a line dropout. Benny Elias, 5 gone. Now Bridge. Sterling going for the charge down. He almost got a shoe in the face. In fact, he did. Gary Jack just quickly checked the health of Peter Sterling. Price out for Kenny. Kenny away to Peter Ford. They've gone ahead 15 metres. This second rower come winger. Having a picnic out on the wing. That pass from dummy half to Wynn was forward. Then he gets it to Ella. This time they won't deny him. And Steve Ella goes in to score. He comes out of it looking rather blue, as a matter of fact. But he was the man denied a try by Gary Jack just prior to half-time. But that pass from the dummy half to Peter Wynn, it was forward. I can't take it back. No way known. And Steve Ella went in to capitalise on it. So it's 20 points to 6 in favour of the Eels.
The pass might have been forward, but the Balmain defence was never set at any stage. They were still on the back pedal as Wynn charged onto the ball. He slipped a pass to an Ella, and Ella did the rest himself.
So Steve Ella with one arm blue and a couple of legs blue.
20 points to 6. 2 out of 3 for Mike Eden. And an easy kick for him now. Eden gets the extras. And 22 points to 6, the scoreline in favour of the Eels over the Tigers in the Cup Final. Good hands across now to Schofield. He fended Muggleton off, was trapped by Jackson. Sirenen brushes off one, tries to run over another, but it was Ray Price around his legs. Gale, Myler, Schofield, Pearce, Myler, Hemsley, Gale, Elias. Now it's to Sirenen. This is Gary Jack. Trouble for Parramatta, is it? Davidson can't take it. Well, Balmain really making the ball sing across their back line. Not once, but twice. And that ball was passed forward. Wynn. What to say about Peter Wynn? Graham, give me a comment here. We've been critical of Peter Wynn running sideways. I've described him as running like a crab on occasions. But I do think he's working on that facet of his game. He, to me, looks to be straightening it right up.
Well, he certainly has in recent weeks. I think the real advantage for Wynn is that his timing is starting to come back to him. In the play of the balls, quick play of the balls mean a hell of a lot to Peter Wynn. Charges like this one here from Terry Leverter. He's the sort of guy that if Leverter's up and playing the ball quick, Wynn is there meeting that advantage line and gaining 4 or 5 yards head start on the opposition. He's played very, very strongly in the last couple of weeks.
Price. Back in for Kenny. There's more trouble coming for the Tigers. Cut out ball from Kenny to Muggleton. Muggleton scores. John Muggleton scores try number 5 for Parramatta. Oh, they're giving you a beautiful exhibition of rugby league at the moment. They stacked it all up across the other side of the ground with a big run by Leverter. And then they brought it back just as quickly. They're simply backing up. They're supporting the man with the ball, and then they're floating these long balls out wide, and that's where they're really finding Balmain in trouble.
When Parramatta start to put it all together, there's virtually nothing you can do to stop them. It was Price here. He's had a great game tonight. Tremendous captain's knock. He stood in a tackle and slipped it back to Kenny. Now, Kenny had the choice there of any one of 3 players to give the ball to. He picked Muggleton to give it to, and he did the job.
So John Muggleton scores the try. 26-year-old school teacher. Product of the same junior school or organisation as Dennis Fitzgerald. Graham Atkins. Parramatta Marist. Mike Eden now from the sideline. 18 metres out. He's hooked it just a little bit too much. And so 26-6 in favour of the Eels. And the penalty goes to the Tigers against Terry Leverter. Schofield not wasting any time, finding the line just inside the 22. Through Bridge. Sterling went for the intercept. Myler got it away to Schofield. Then it's gone to ground. Now it's back with Gale. It's play on. Gale inside for Davidson, but no, he's called it back. He's called it back, ruling the pass went forward. Well, maybe when you look at it in that replay, it did come off the hand of Scott Gale and was probably propelled forward, but on that camera angle, it's impossible really to tell. Change, Graham?
Well, an incredible change here. Tony Myler is the man that's off for Balmain. Mike Perry is on in 16. He's gone to the second row. Wayne Pearce, in another move now, has moved to the unaccustomed role of 5'8".
Peter Wynn. Price. Ella.
Ella! Oh, look at him go! 32 metres to run. Mosley. Eden. Humphreys the tackler. They'll come quickly left here. Ella, Sterling, Jackson.
The one thing about Parramatta is they never try to close a game up. They never have to.
Peter Wynn.
Just got brilliant attacking players, Parramatta. They can move the ball around, but move it around with security.
Pardon me for laughing. That was probably the most unfashionable rugby league kick I've ever seen. from
He's
Peter
had a
Wynn.
tremendous game, Peter Wynn, but the kicking game isn't his specialty.
It looked like a Graham Hughes bunker shot. It's been spun across to Gale now.
It's with Davidson. Eden's after him and got him.
Schofield. This is Perry. Stay with us at the conclusion of the telecast for the presentation of the cup trophies to the players. And of course for the announcement of the man of the match. And then we'll see some great schoolboy action in the Commonwealth Bank Cup to follow the National Panasonic tonight. Forward, tackled by Elias. Lee Beater. Bugden. Sterling. Laurie.
Beautiful stuff. It doesn't matter who you follow. And we can talk about the injury-riddled Balmain as much as you like. When they put it together, they put it together. The Foster's like a replay, a simple run around, and then he comes round the corner and he runs at the next outside player. Flick passes for Ella, that straightens the attack. He's got Muggleton one side and Kenny the other. And of course, when Kenny comes on the scene with 22 metres to go, you've almost got to be Jesse Owens to catch him.
A classic backline rugby league try. This from the half-back.
Brett Kenny, the try scorer. Mike Eden has converted the try. Here it is, in fact, the replay of the try conversion from Michael Eden, who incidentally last Sunday, Eden, the fellows on the gate didn't realise he was, there's the score, 32-6. They didn't realise he was a player. They doesn't have any beer in his bag.
Suriname. Gale. And this will be a penalty where the ball landed. It's against Terry Leabeater, I believe, for taking Scott Gale out of it after he kicked it. Well, it's Sterling and Leabeater, really. They both had a little go at him. Mosley off, and Sharp is on with 6 minutes of time to go.
Bridge, a long ball. Schofield, a quick pass. It's gone to ground, and Gale is able to get up and go again. He'll nearly score. He will score. Oh, yes. Scott Gale, from a standing start, left them grasping at mid-air. Tremendous turn of acceleration, this lad. I realise the ball game is well and truly over. Have a look at the Foster's Lager replay. He has to pick this ball up from a standing start. Then he beats Brian Jackson. He's away from Ray Price. He left another couple looking at vacant space. He beats Steve Ella. But if ever they put them down over 25 metres and even over 100, he'll come up at a pretty good price, Scott Gale, but gee, he'll carry some of mine. 32-12 in favour of the Eels. Kick successful.
This is the last. Gale. And this will be another penalty against Mark Laurie this time.
He's copped 10 minutes in the sin bin for this one.
Well, that's the side on. Roberts has indicated, and that's what Bill's talking about. Roberts indicated a trip. And he has picked up the sin bin, Mark Laurie. It was done with a minimum of fuss by Roberts. And Mark Laurie given the latter part of the match in the sin bin. Pearce through to Schofield. Now it's Humphreys. And Humphreys is in the corner. 32 points to 16 as Humphreys scores Balmain's third try in what now is becoming a very high-scoring cup final. 48 points in the match coming after this try was laid on by Schofield and finished by Humphreys. Steve Humphreys, the try scorer. In fact, that Christian brothers that you see there, I'm almost sure he went to Lewisham, who played in the cup final here tonight. Schofield from the touchline. Fight back by Balmain, reminiscent of Parramatta's brief comeback against Manly. Schofield's kick is well wide. No change, 32 points to 16 in favour of Parramatta. And there is a moment in history. Ray Price playing on the left wing for Parramatta. So we've got the two best lock forwards probably going around in the game. One playing 5'8" and the other playing wing.
Tell you what, with Price on the wing, he mightn't score many tries, but I don't think the person playing opposite him will either.
The only thing that Russ Gardner and Ray Price, who are looking eyeball to eyeball at each other at the moment, is in common is their age. Ray Price getting back here. Almost, I would think, saying, could somebody bring me a wheelchair? But I'm not leaving. This is Pearce, back for Benny Elias. 25 by 32 points to 16. Before a crowd of probably around 17,000. For Parramatta, Bugden, he scored one try. Kenny 2, Wynn, Ella and Muggleton tries. And Eden kicked 4 goals. The Balmain points, Myler, Gale and Humphreys the tries, and Schofield kicked 2 goals. Ray Price taking his team up to the presentation area, met there by the club's #1 badge holder and their sponsor, Harry Hudson from James Hardie. Here's Ray coming along now to Mr. John McGuirk of National Panasonic, whose efforts in putting the cup together in recent years have been absolutely magnificent. Also at the presentation, Mr. Bob Condon, the New South Wales sales manager for National Panasonic, Mr. Ken Arthurson, the chairman of the Australian Rugby League. I've mentioned Mr. Bellew, and also, of course, I've mentioned Mr. Peter Anderson. There's the cup, held aloft, and the cheque for $131,000.
So we have referee Gosher putting down a scrum about 11 metres short of halfway in Lewisham's territory. It's their Diamond Jubilee year at St Gregory's. They've already claimed the Campbelltown knockout this year, and should they win the cup tonight, they'll equal the record held by Patrician Brothers Fairfield, and that means that they'll have won the cup on 4 occasions. So referee Gosher requires it to be put in again. It's Gregory's. Kenneth coming a fairly wide blind. Oh, he's trapped on the place. He's over the corner. Back inside. Beautiful stuff. This will be Neelan going over. Yes, just what they wanted. First points on Cup night. They burst on the board and they did it so comfortably. They lead 4-0.
Well, in this try, you can see why Damien Kenneth is the leader at this stage and our superstar. A beautiful run back to the blind side. He dummied to the supports outside. The defence fell for that dummy. They hung off him. He had enough pace to get in behind them. Neelan loomed up in support on the inside and came up with a great try.
Well, he has he keeps his opposition on a leash all night long. Look at this fella Scamp. He delivers a beautiful pass on the inside to Neelan, and Neelan goes over to score with a desperation tackle there from Fidel. Swooped in like an eagle, but as I said, you just have a look at him. There's a lovely dummy there, lovely feint. He dodges the defenders every time he gets the ball. He's a very complete footballer, this young man. Kenneth, first points on the board, St Gregory's. Approaching the ball now. And that one is one up, one down, and referee Gosha says no goal. So the scoreline, St Gregory's College Campbelltown hitting the front on Cup Final night, leading Christian Brothers Lewisham by 4 points to 0. Bursting onto it now is Osborne. He takes the tackle, but it's a good large gain, about 12 metres. And Scott moves into acting half, Scott Quinn. Straight away to Sukar. Getting it to Colasso. Finicafalou has got it for Gregory's, and so has Kenneth, and he's doing his magic again. A couple of metres short of halfway, and Gregory's with the ball and looking very smart tonight. Finicafalou, lovely pass. Smith linking up fluently, and he's right to halfway. So Gregory's. Fuller in the Australian under 15 side, the young halfback, a great team player, prays constantly. There's a nice ploy, and here comes Kenneth again. Aria, beautifully taken. It's a try to Kenneth. Yes! Oh my goodness! Just the attacking flair of Kenneth. Back with a vengeance that would send chills of joy down your old spine. What beautiful work. They lead 8-0. St Gregory's. Oh, crack stuff.
Well, you'd go a long way to see a better individual try than this. Kenneth summed up the situation well. He realised he could chip over the top and had a good chance of contesting the ball and recovering it. That he did. He caught it on the full and then crashed his way over to score a magnificent individual try.
Just the sheer acceleration of this bloke off the spot, and he's got a lovely floater over the top as he chipped it. Coming at him, of course, trying hard to bring him down was Jim Unwin, but he reached over beautifully to score that try. Here is the replay again. A fella with marvellous gifts. He's so crisp, and a beautiful take there. And here he goes for the line. And this is young Damien Kenneth. Hits it firmly, accurately, and scores the 2 points. So St Gregory's College Campbelltown leading Christian Brothers Lewisham 10-0. Cup final night at Leichhardt. Fidel looking for line. Not exactly the best of kicks that Fardell really puts in general play. Here's McManus. Oh, he's got a big fend, and he's got a big run. He's up and away, this fella. He's a runner and he serves notice that time. It's a good 45-metre burst by Damien McManus. Now Gregory's again. They're on the roll. Finicafalou hit well by Malloy. Put away midway between the quarter and halfway. Lewisham's territory. Fuller, lovely close ball. Coming onto it, Perrin. Big 14.5 stone, vigorous player. 30 metres out and he's injured just slightly. He'll need some trainer attention. Big Tim Perrin, when he comes pouring down on you, I think even a bull-handed retreat. He's such a big boy and such a tough. And here he comes. Here's McManus on a recap of McManus. He's such a beautiful winger. He's got lovely long strides, a nice swerve, as you can see, but well trapped there by Coolan. Now it's with Hickey. Hickey goes back on the inside, and it's a nice move too, and picked out by Whale. Stripped him of the ball, and on the outside on the right was Fidel, and there were about 4 sky blue jumpers and about 2 Gregory's defenders. But in the meantime, it's Perrin making good head work. And now it's Gregory's again to about 12 metres out. Kirkman doing big damage. He's a very bold runner. Now onto the ball, it's Hansen taking it forward for Gregory's. It's all power, and they're trying to stem this charge, Lewisham. But now if they fly the ball, pouring it out, Finicafalou, Fuller, they've got 2 up here. Neelan on the inside, picked up by Finicafalou and down. 8 metres out from Lewisham's goal line. They're still on the left. Now Hodgins decides I'll run it a little and he's 2 metres short of the goal line. The last one coming up on Gregory's. A half a minute before half-time, Kenneth goes for the drop goal. Smart. And referee Gosha says it's a point. It's 11-0. Gregory's, St Gregory's of Campbelltown leading Christian Brothers Lewisham 11-0. He's a smart player, Bill.
That was good thinking. You realise there are only a few seconds to go before half-time and took the opportunity to put that extra 1 point on.
Well, there it is, to the end of an outstanding first half so far as St Gregory's are concerned. They're super best. Some talking to do in the shed so far as Lewisham is concerned with Donahue, but they've proved through the season they're never finished. OK, the scoreline here. 11-0 St Gregory's of Campbelltown leading Christian Brothers Lewisham. So Gregory's applying the pressure again. And it'll be Hodgins, only 5 metres out. Nice ball to Green, and Green... Oh, gee, I thought he was nearly over there. He must be only about 1.5 metres out. So swung to Fuller. Fuller getting it to Hansen. Hansen blocked 8 metres out. Here is Kenneth again. Geez, elusive. They'll have to contain him and force him back. But I think that... Are they over? Referee Gosha says a try. A try to Gregory's over in the far corner. We'll check it out on replay here, but that's another one.
A good play here by Kenneth. He elected to run from dummy half, brought 2 and 3 defenders into him, but he was able to slip the ball away. You can see here, his support looms up, the numbers obscured from us from this particular angle. There's no doubt the ball did go down, and referee Gocha was in a great position to see it.
Yes, I think that's McManus, because once on a break he snaps away, I'll tell you what, he'll really burn off. But that was a close ball by Kenneth beautifully, and the big powerful winger, just a matter of just going over with 2 clinging to him to force it down. So Gregory's 15, leading Lewisham 0. Well, he's been deadly in attack. He's certainly the dominant player out there tonight. Kenneth, and Wales scoops it out to Fuller. Close ball to Finucane. Hickey has him under control. 5 metres out from Lewisham's goal line, but they're in the van. Gregory's again through Kenneth. Fuller. Now it's Nealon, looked after about 10 metres out from Lewisham's goal line. Kirkman at acting half. He goes for a scanter. 4 metres out as they take him. And it's all Gregory's. Now Kenneth. Nice reverse to Finucane. And one again of his typical charges, laid down about 2 metres out from Lewisham's goal line. The last one coming up.
Field goal.
The Sky Blues and Maroons, and Kenneth again. Successful. It's 16-0. 16-0 in favour of St Gregory's over Christian Brothers Lewisham. He's got a keen eye. He's a crisp, noteworthy footballer, involved in everything and causes just so much turmoil. Hodgins serving it up to Whale, and Sukar is there, closes in on his quarry. Now Kenneth. Yeah, when you're blessed, don't you? Oh, blimey.
He never had much room to work in at all here. You could see it on the replay. He kicked that from about on the 10-yard line, which gave him 10 metres to work in. It landed about 2 metres in from touch and bounced along the line and then went out. That's a great judicious kick. Oh, and another one against the feet. They've just got too much ball here.
Here's Whale. Easy ball out here to Clifton. Well taken. Metre short. But he put his foot out and a scrum to go down. A little bit of passion coming from and rhubarb from Kevin O'Neill, I think. Completely frustrated. Lewisham can't do a thing right. And Kenneth, of course, doing it all for Gregory's. But it's a beautiful team effort. Quite apart from Kenneth's contribution, as Fuller makes good ground on the blind. Out Clifton from acting half. Fidel doing the stopping. Tim Perrin. Now through Hodgins. Kirkman. 5 metres out from Lewisham's goal line. And Gregory's, if they get it out to the left, although there's pretty good defence there. Out wide. Oh, Smith. Smith over. Lovely try, Gregory's. A reminder again of what a classy footballer he is when he links. Fella that don't like when he runs, and a nice gem of a try as he linked up fluently, and that's Darren Smith, their fullback.
The case here of just too much possession, too much class. Smith's a great runner from the backfield. He read this well. It was a cut-out pass that put him into the gap, and he finished it off.
Well, the Gregory's forward momentum has snowballed into an avalanche here, and the strong performers in the backs, and there's another instance of it with Darren Smith going over. So still they come. This time Darren Smith to halfway. Fuller gives it to Whale. And Anthony Whale, he's brought up 100 tackles here tonight, I reckon, but so resourceful in attack. Farhat again, bringing the runner to ground, and the runner happened to be Hodgins. Hungry for opening around the rucks all night he's been. Finicov-Galoo taking it from Kenneth, and this is the last one on Gregory's. 20-0 Gregory's lead. Kenneth. There's the high ball. Looking for it is Coolin. Oh, one of his uncharacteristic mistakes. Picked up. Oh, in. Tried by Fuller. Their halfback. It's all St Gregory's. Big try from a big competitor with a big heart. Never been off the boil all night. He serviced beautifully, and he chased well there. Fuller the halfback.
Everything that St Greg's has done tonight has turned to goal. This time it was a bomb that was put up. The fullback Coolin wasn't under a lot of pressure, but he had to rush to take the ball. He came up with a fumble. Fuller was on the spot and picked it up and scored a well-deserved try.
Here it is, the up ball, and beautifully delivered by Kenneth again. And here is Coolin coming across, and normally he has no heartburn. He's always an immaculate handler. Slooped through, and Fuller picks it up for over she goes with Elias Sura in pursuit. Well, there it is, and it's 24-0. St Gregory's Campbelltown over Christian Brothers Lewisham, and I think the easiest of shots that Kenneth or Finicov-Galoo have had all night. So here he comes, lovely control, accurately, and the other 2 points. St Gregory's College Campbelltown, the cup well and truly theirs, leading Lewisham Christian Brothers 26-0 on cup final night. Coolin, number 17, coming out for Lewisham, and that happens to be Joe DiGiulio. Fans of St Gregory's College. Very rowdy here. I don't know whether you can pick them up, but and there it is. Full time. St Gregory's College gave us some beautifully conceived rugby league here tonight to earn the title, the Commonwealth Bank Cup. They've defeated Lewisham by 26 points to 0. Champions for 86, and as you can well detect from what you've seen on your screen, they enjoyed their football tonight. And out Campbelltown way, the flags, I reckon, would be unfurled, the drinks are on, and there would be much rejoicing and singing out Campbelltown. Final scoreline, St Gregory's College Campbelltown 26 have defeated Christian Brothers Lewisham 0. And so equaling Patrician Brothers Fairfield record of winning the cup on 4 occasions. Just reiterating, they won it in 79, in 1980, in 1984. They were firm favourites throughout the year to win it, but Lewisham was the side that was going to down them. But as it turned out tonight, it was Campbelltown from the opening minutes of play, and they played accordingly all the way through till the final hooter.
Our first weekend of Winfield Cup football takes us to North Sydney Oval for the clash between the Bears and the Illawarra Steelers. An important clash for the Bears. They have to win this one to make sure of their semi-final prospects. They're up against Illawarra Steelers, who this year have only lost 4 games by under 4 and 6 points. The North Sydney Bears, well, their chances are resting very squarely on the shoulders of their captain, Mark Graham.
It's a very calm day here, almost no breeze to speak of, as Norths work it back through Peter Cross. And Steve-O, the Norths forwards, are they up to it today to win this one?
I think they are. I think they'll play straight down the middle. I think that Illawarra, they'll try to get the ball out wide. And as you said, Alan McIndoe, a really good player. He's been one of the stars of the season so far. And they've got to give him as much possession as possible.
That big man is Steve Hansen. Plays tremendous 80-minute matches for Norths. Fully committed player. Cannon just got the kick in. Knocked down on the flank by Malcolm Kelly. Brett French put him down. In the centres, Jeff Hardy. Just in Illawarra territory. Taken up by Peter Smith. Kissel. Down the flank. Steve Casey. Right on North's quarter.
North's having a bit of problem there, Jim. One of the players limping from the field.
It's Rex Wright.
Yeah, the hooker. That's a bad player to lose in the opening minute.
And the referee, Bill Harrigan, has caught Illawarra inside the 5. And that's right. He's in big trouble there. And he'll be a real loss for North. He's had a tremendous record in the scrums in the last 2 weeks. And the man in the headgear is Paul Upfield for Illawarra. Had an excellent season with the Steelers. Now Filipina sets it alight to Graham. Always dangerous with a bit of space. He moves so nimbly and is strong enough to just go straight through a tackle. And again, a penalty in the play the ball this time. Carberry being penalised.
Took the referee a long time to get this one here. I mean, they never allowed the North Sydney player any chance.
Filipina from this little run. Hits it accurately and gets 2 points. So North's 2-0 ahead, 5 minutes into the game. Cannon, good fend, good run by Cannon. MacArthur. And Graham keeping the movement going to Lindsay. Great work by Cannon. He easily fended off Carberry. And that's a fine ball to Bella. Oh, North's looking good here. Touched by Illawarra. Count starts again as Florimo will play it. Friend, Cannon. Mark Graham outside him. The defence up too quickly. Now can someone penetrate here? Graham from dummy half. Almost slips by them. Illawarra a little stretched. Cannon again. Look at this. On the flank is a Butler. Trying to evade them. Just a few metres out. That's Hansen. Last tackle for the Bears. They lead 2-0. Friend. Filipina chasing. Patterson gets it. There wasn't much happening with that kick. Not too many chases. And now Debbie down on the sidelines got some news about Rex Wright.
Yes, Jim, the doctor denies that he carried any injury into the match, but he snapped his Achilles tendon right through, apparently, so that's pretty dramatic injury, I think, for Rex Wright. Might put him out for a while.
That's bad news for Wright in North Sydney. It's bad luck for him. He's been playing very well. Mackie to Smith. Martin Bella in for the tackle with Ashley Lindsay. Kissel, long ball. Upfield. Larder down the touchline, covered up by Mark Graham. But there's some good work by Illawarra there. They just ran out of space along the touchline.
This is where the gaps are going to be, out wide. It's a good run, but a good cover tackle.
Taken up by Smith. Mackie. Kick and chase. It's not a bad one. MacArthur never took his eyes off it. Well done by John MacArthur, right on his line. Cross. Friend. That opening closed up pretty quickly. Surrounded by Max Maddox. Filipina. Lindsay to Friend. Cross. Graham goes dead straight. Good run from Graham. But they've lost it. They went forward. There was an excellent example of Mark Graham's ability to straighten the attack, but they couldn't finish it.
Beautiful ball from Cross, just short ball. Graham went through. This pass was never really on.
Carberry down near halfway. Set up from Larder. That's Hardy. Good run by Hardy. Support inside. Mackie. But it's gone loose. A chance for Illawarra. It went forward too. Well, what a chance they had. Couldn't finish it off. And Mackie's limping again. Bolt controlling it through Mackie to Patterson. Someone inside. It's Hardy again. Good break. Over halfway to centre. Hardy kicks ahead. The chase is on for Mannix. And look at McIndoe flying here. And he scores the try. Alan McIndoe, a tremendous burst of speed. What a try to Illawarra. The break was made by Jeff Hardy. And after the kick and chase, McIndoe just flew from nowhere to score. Watch this.
Having a good game, Hardy. A good pass back inside by Patterson. See the speed. I thought he bombed it here. He had players with him, but he obviously saw that McIndoe out wide. And that's allowed in rugby league. You can use your shoulder.
There's a conversion attempt. And it's successful. So it's 6-2 in favour of Illawarra. Friend on the blind. Graham. Stan Brown's about to come on for Kelly. Cannon kicked ahead and found touch.
That's more positive play by North Sydney. And this guy's the man that can do it. Put them in a good position. Good thinker. And a good kick by Cannon.
Tight head to Norths. Well, that's a pretty good effort. Their third hooker of the day on, Peter Edwards from the under-23s. Filipina slips it to Florimo. Offside. Illawarra caught offside. Harrigan, I think, played the advantage there. And then when Florimo was tackled, he's given them a penalty right in front. 2 steps, 2 points.
Go
6-4. Friend, Cannon chasing, grabs it, back to Friend. Friend in desperation, knowing it was the last tackle, trying to get rid of it. It's a hand over to Illawarra.
I think that's a key word, Jim, desperation. They may be using those big forwards to rush straight into the opposition's defence, but it's getting them nowhere. Clayton Friend and Mark Graham, they've got to start doing something more positive.
McIndoe wheeling out of a couple of tackles. It's a big run from the winger again. Tremendous try he scored earlier in the half. Lada. Back to McIndoe. Almost half-time. McIndoe hurt in the tackle. Now he's called timeout. And the siren has gone. And that'll be half-time. It is half-time. He was about to call a timeout. The siren went. So at half-time, Illawarra leads 6-4. A try to McIndoe and a goal to Kelly. Filipina 2 goals for the Bears. Mackie a dummy half. The switch to Kissel. A long one. Lada has to go back infield. They forced him inside. And Peter Edwards, number 3 hooker today. Good tackle. Smith charging at them. Worthington. Bolt rolls around in the tackle. Covered up by Friend. Illawarra going forward pretty well now. Carberry. That's Kissel. Last tackle, Illawarra. Ahead by 2 points. Upfield, looking for touch. Finds it. Close to the corner. Friend looking elusive. Straight ahead now. Some space there. Now he looks for support. Illawarra's defence held off him as if he had leprosy. They wouldn't go for him. MacArthur. On his knees, John MacArthur. A metre out. Edwards to Friend. Cannon. That's Graham. Look at him go hard. He'll score. Mark Graham. There was plenty of room there. Illawarra's defence all over the place after Clayton Friend's great run. So that's what the North supporters were looking for. Their leading light has scored the try.
Blitz was after a great run by Friend, the New Zealand halfback. Long ball out wide, into the gap. this is what he's famous for. He's not classed as one of the world's greatest second rowers for nothing. And it's all a matter of timing. The ball, a long ball out wide. Watch that beautiful pass there. Cannon. And Graham goes in for the vital try.
Awesome Filipina with the shortest kicking run in rugby league. 2 steps and punch. This for a 4-point lead for the Bears. Came off the side of his boot, but it still went very close to the post. But Norths lead by 2. Cannon, Bella. Another savage run from Bella. Cross. North sensing there's a bit of space here now. Filipina. That's Casey. Casey for the corner. Filipina beautifully picked up, but he said he was held.
See the referee indicate touch his elbows. The man was on the ground, elbows on the ground. It's a split second. Yes, ball was grounded.
Anybody's game still, with 2 points the difference to Norths. That's Casey. Friend. And it's a penalty against O'Connell. Hanging on to the man, not getting off him, allowing Friend to play it. Here's how it all happened.
Well, I can't help suspect that Bill Harrigan, the referee, was conned here, as you can see.
And Filipina, from this brief approach, should kick 2 points and make it a 4-point lead. Great concentration, and he's accurate. A useful goal for the Bears. They lead 10-6, 20 minutes to go. McIndoe. It's a game Norths really must win today to keep in touch with the top 5. Upfield. That's Patterson. Last tackle for Illawarra. Now Kissel's off. Who's calling the shots? It's gone to Mackey. Mackey puts in the high one for little John MacArthur. And MacArthur, it's a try. It's a try to McPherson. He's been on the field for 30 seconds and he scores a try. A beautiful kick from Mackey. And that time MacArthur couldn't defuse it. It was McPherson who got there and grabbed it.
Well, there was ice on this one. That really did hold up. Did the right thing, MacArthur, but just got beaten to it. Good play by the youngster. The substitute who just came onto the field. Good call. And watch it go up. That really did hang. And there's a worse thing for a fullback.
Here's his kick. It puts them in the lead. Illawarra lead 12-10 with 13 minutes to go in the game. And this will really dent North's semi-final aspirations. 22 for Illawarra is Ian Russell. Oh, they must have exhausted their replacements by now. And that's Mackey's beautiful kick. Finds touch. So that's Illawarra's game now. They've got to keep North's down at this end for the next 7 or 8 minutes. Maybe get a field goal, score another try, but at least keep North's pinned inside their own territory if they're to win the game. And it's a penalty to Illawarra. It'll be against Clayton Friend. Not putting it in straight. All sorts of problems in the scrums today. I suppose it's no surprise when you think that Norths have now got their 4th hooker of the day from the scrum.
You could have had your grandmother in then. It wouldn't have made any difference, Jim. That really was a home free.
McIndoe going to Coming up to hand it to Seamus O'Connell. O'Connell straight at the line. And that's a penalty, has to be. North's hacking at it in the play of the ball before it had hit the deck. And Mackie calling the tune behind the play there.
This is how you lose your fingers.
Here's McPherson. He's kicked it. 4 points clear, Illawarra. And we're down to the last 5 minutes of the game. So Norths need a converted try to win it.
But Mackie and Jeff Hardy, they've really tried hard. And the forwards have tried hard. It hasn't been a sensational game.
Carberry, he coughs it up. Lada's up in the line. A chance for Illawarra to clinch it now. They're 4 points clear. That's O'Connell. They might even get McPherson lined up for a field goal here. There'll be a penalty against North's offside. And a kick right in front of the posts.
Well, I'd beg to differ with the referee on that occasion.
Be one of Illawarra's big days of the year here, as McPherson kicks it from right in front. It's 16-10 to Illawarra. They had 7.5 start on footy, Tab.
Well, a disappointing performance by the Bears. I'm not taking anything away from the Steelers. They've just gone through the motions. They've ground away. They've taken their chances. But the Bears started out so well.
That's Rex Wright, being carried by Dom McKinnon into the dressing room. A sad day for Wright, snapping his Achilles tendon. Brown to bring it back for Illawarra. So I think we've seen some sort of history here today with Illawarra's first win in a televised match in the Winfield Cup. And there's the hooter for full time in the background. Illawarra have won the game, their 5th win of the season. And they've had a couple of wins at North Sydney Oval in their career in the Winfield Cup. But this is a good one today, 16-10.
From North Sydney Oval to Parramatta Stadium for Channel 10's NEC big game between Canterbury Bankstown and the Balmain Tigers. Canterbury without 6 regular first graders who are of course needed in the State of Origin clash against Queensland on Tuesday night. But Balmain, well, they're without Wayne Pearce, Steve Roach and Gary Jack in a game that really is a search of both clubs' depth of talent through the reserve grade ranks. Canterbury of course will be looking to a big game from their captain and halfback Steve Mortimer.
Welcome to the NEC big game in round 14 of the Winfield Cup between Canterbury Bankstown and Balmain, with today's match coming from Parramatta Stadium. Well, this weekend is the start of the second half of the premiership season, and Canterbury is on 19 points and holding down 3rd position on the competition table. Balmain just out of the 5 on 14. The Bulldogs come to the stadium for their home game today due to construction taking place at Belmore for new multi-thousand-dollar lighting facilities. Their team, and of course cut about by State of Origin duties, is Potter, Campbell, Peter Mortimer, Mullane, O'Brien, Hagan, Steve Mortimer, captain, Langmack, Elias, Dunn, Kelly, Bugden and Johnston. The Tigers, they come into the match after their midweek loss in the National Panasonic Cup Final, and also minus their state reps, Pearce, Roach and Jack. Here's their team. Humphreys, Gartner, Gale, Schofield, Davidson, Myler, Bridge, Hardwick, Brooks, Perry in the second row in 25, Makito, Elias and Hemsley. Referee for the game, Mick Stone, as the Tigers and the Bulldogs prepare to do battle here at Parramatta Stadium. Canterbury running from right to left. Humphreys giving it to Gary Bridge. And the Canterbury chase to the kickoff was quite smart. They pinned Balmain on the first tackle about 12 metres out from their line. Ball played by Davidson now out on his quarter line. That's Perry. We've seen him on the cameras before, mainly playing at hooker. Kicked by Benny Elias, bouncing up for Michael Potter. Gartner's onside as he comes through.
So a penalty goes to Canterbury against the Balmain tacklers for not releasing the man. Steve Mortimer's line kick, he wasn't over-adventurous. Of course, the kick was given to him very close to the line. Kelly goes up. 32 metres out from the Balmain line, tackled chiefly by Marquito and Brooks. This is Johnston. John Elias, the man nicknamed Gaddafi. Kelly again, keen for work. Predicted by many to be a special for the Kangaroo Tour. To the blind side for Dunn, short ball away for Elias. Steve Mortimer through to Hagan, grubber kick, deep in goal here at the stadium, don't forget. Davidson. Oh yeah, they're good tactics here. Canterbury's done their homework, I'd say. You got plenty of grass to deal with in there. Even if you don't score a try, you're odds on to peg them back in the in goal with a good chase. And Campbell makes the tackle. Line drop out Balmain. Gale in jumper number 19 kicks at 53 metres on the fly. Potter. Beating bridge. Done. Kelly. Mortimer. Done again. He and Kelly getting through a power of work in attack. Canterbury very deep to the right. They've stacked the blind side as well, but it's a penalty to Balmain. That's against Dunn for not raking the ball back with his foot. That's the indication from the referee. Let's have a look. Not too many prepared to concede that Balmain have any chance of winning this match today, which is rather surprising considering that Canada got so many players.
Balmain would very much have to improve their defence. From what I saw on Wednesday night, there were holes all across the field, and as a matter of fact, next time that they're in defence, we might have a look at Gary Bridge, because I have picked up that they've made one change to the way they lined up in defence on Wednesday.
Myler taking it one-handed, then getting it back to Perry. It's about 7 metres his side of the halfway. Territorially, it's been probably about 60-40 Canterbury, if not a little bit higher than that, as Balmain pick up this penalty. Do you think Gale has been told to get in there and do it himself, Graham, just watching the opening exchanges?
Well, it certainly doesn't need a man of his age and ability in a game of first-grade rugby league to get involved. If I was Frank Stanton, I certainly wouldn't be too keen to tell him that. I think the guy's just got to take it upon himself. He did it in, say, the last 10 minutes of the Panasonic on Wednesday night in the final. He's got some enormous ability, and he's really got to feed off broken play. Any time that Kerry Hemsley or any of the forwards can stand in a tackle, he's the sort of man with the speed that should be there.
Here's Myler getting out of a tackle, taken by Gale. Gets his pass round the corner, but the referee has ruled it forward. Well, that was a beautiful piece of football by the young man that Graham Hughes was talking about. He took the defence on, he got his arms free, he got the ball around the corner, as I call it. And there must have been only a fraction in it.
Scott Gale's the sort of player who, as a coach, you could probably set him a little goal, and that'd be to say make 8 runs from broken play in each half. But for him to personally take on the defence 8 times in each half of the match, and if he could achieve that, I'm sure he'd make 3 or 4 breaks from them.
Feet across against the Bulldogs. Gary Bridge taking the kick for line. Some untidy scrums in the opening part of the game, Gray.
Well, that's probably because I noticed in the first couple of scrums that Van Elias and Mark Bugden were certainly having plenty of words with each other, as were both sets of front rows. They're trying to dominate, get over the top of each other in this first half, and that's causing for plenty of trouble.
Brooks inside. Oh, Schofield 2 metres out from the line. Balmain on the attack. Elias, Myler, Tony Myler, he's going to score. Yes, Myler, the English 5/8 goes in to score for Balmain. Well, I don't know how to describe this galloping action of Tony Myler. He doesn't appear to be going at any speed. He doesn't seem to have a care in the world. He just beats them with either a fend on this occasion and a change of pace. I remember seeing him score a try in the National Panasonic. He just ran through them like a hot knife through butter.
Myler's a player who has got plenty of pace. He's elected to pass in this game up to this point. This time he decided to take the defence on, pushed off one tackle and then was able to crash over through another one.
So Schofield, his test partner, takes the attempt at conversion and it's successful. So Balmain lead Canterbury in the NEC big game, 6 points to nothing.
Steve Mortimer with the kick-off. John Davidson folded in behind Brooks there. He must have thought that ball was going to bounce in the field of play. I think Brooks was prepared to let it go, thinking it might go out on the full. Anyway, it's Elias and Bridge, and here's Perry going through, but the kick for touch from Bridge finds it. Just a couple of metres into Canterbury's side of play. And on that tackle, 1 to 4 inclusive, he probably would be better off not to try and drive it into the opposition half, because if he was able to find it, say, a couple of metres on his own side of the halfway, his halfback would have the feed. They've won it against the feed anyway, but I just wanted to emphasise that point. It's gone to Hardwick now, and the cross for Humphreys to the halfway. Up the back for Myler. Myler fends off another, and he steps inside another. I'll tell you what, he's setting the records fairly straight this time. Referee has called Gale back. I don't know that he got a hand to it. I know it came off his feet. He might have snatched at it. Did he touch it with his hands? I don't know that we're going to tell very much off that. Let's see it again. Here's Scott Gale. He gets it off the feet. I think it did come off his left hand, probably. So, in the heat of the moment, it would seem the ref was right. Humphreys on a long run back. Steve O'Brien's coming very fast. And Humphreys forces it, but he's ruled that O'Brien was in front of the kicker. Now, all that means, if you're in front of the kicker, you've got to stay 5 metres away from the man playing at the ball. Here the crowd giving the ref a raspberry. I wonder how many of them checked the 12 Canterbury players that didn't kick it to see whether they were or were not onside. 4 straight penalties to the Tigers. Maybe that's what the booing's about. This is Gartner to play it. Hemsley just working in behind that play the ball, hoping that a hole might present itself. That's Marquito. They're outside the 32-metre line. Bridge for the kick. Potter going back again down to his 10. These are good kicks by Bridge because he's not looking for the line. He's just looking for territory. Deep kicks, as Bill was saying the other night, straight down the middle of the ground. Under the new rules, they're as good as any. This is Campbell.
On Wednesday night, Balmain had all sorts of problems with their defence, particularly out wide, the way they split their centres. They're always being found short. Now, what they've done today is they've brought Gary Bridge out of a cover defensive role and they've put him up into the front line. So what that's going to do is give them an extra player in the defensive line and someone to help their 2 centres in defence.
Kick by Mortimer down to Humphreys. They're going to have to make a change, Balmain, Graham, are they?
Yes, it's Paul Bevan here on the sideline in 16. John Davidson, the man that's in trouble. You might see him in the background there running with his hand on it, holding his hip or ribs at this stage.
That's a shame for Balmain. as we find Marquito now playing it on the 32. This is Elias. I suppose it could be worse. That could be replacing a playmaker or a prop. One of the specialists in close. This is Whittaker. Perry, I beg your pardon. Why do I keep calling him Whittaker? Bridges kick over the touchline on the full, and the touch judge goes in. There's the replacement going on in 16. It's Bevan and Davidson coming off. Penalty Balmain. Well, I was about to suggest that under the heading of consistency, he had to give a penalty there. He didn't actually pinch Mortimer, he pinched the hooker for feet across. Although he is talking to Mortimer about his feed. Myler. Schofield, very fast, inside the 22, 10 to go, stops and goes inside. Oh, great try. That's a tremendous try by Schofield. Heavens above, that was a good try. Well, the two Pummies have really put Balmain on the map here today. Have a look at it again. A beautiful long pass from Gary Bridge. Right out along the back line and then to Schofield. He was setting them up. He was trying to do his best for his winger. In fact, it was Scotty Gale outside him. Then he jinked and came inside. And over he went, Gary Schofield, for a superb try.
Balmain's persistence in playing this game out wide is paying off. They were able to beat a number of Canterbury players with just two long passes. The ball went to Schofield. He dummied the pass on the outside, stepped off the left foot, jinked back inside, and that is a great Balmain try.
Well, the two Englishmen, as I said, Gary Schofield, 20 years of age, scoring the second, Tony Myler the first. Here he is from a wide angle. 9 metres in from touch, 25 out. Coming around, and it's just wide. So no change. 10 points to 0 in favour of Balmain over Canterbury. Hardwick. Perry has been asked to take on the role of a second rower today, and he's done some good running. Elias. Potter back on his 22. Davidson replaced about 10 minutes ago by Bevan. Now Potter's injured. Bevy of stars. Farah, Lamb, Tunks. I think Folks has got his back. No, that's Gillespie. There's Robbo sitting there in the blanket. There's Paul Sirenen, who's out of this match today. Johnston tackled about 10 metres on his side of the halfway, and Potter has to be replaced, unfortunately, for Canterbury. A break being made now by Elias. Steve Mortimer, Michael Hagan, Peter Kelly. What will they do, Graham? Sigsworth, Callanan, what do you think?
Well, Sigsworth has moved to the sideline, but he hasn't gone on as yet. He's checking with the doctor and the trainer just to see if Potter can't recover. So it'll be Sigsworth, I would say, straight to fullback.
Canterbury's ball, 6 more. Peter Mortimer. Yeah, they've got him up. They're trying to walk it out of him. This is Kelly. Done. Still walking Mick Potter around. He's going back on. He's on there, but that's about all I can say for him at the moment.
No, he just looked at the bench again, Mick Potter. I'm sure he said, I'm no good, I'll have to come off. That's no place to have a player that's injured.
Graham, what are you able to tell us?
Well, Potter yelled out straight away that he's no good. He called out to his winger, Steve O'Brien. He's still hobbling out here on the sideline. He looked for his replacement, Sigsworth, but Sigsworth had moved back to the seat in the grandstand.
So Potter has come now to the left wing. O'Brien's gone back to fullback. And you didn't have to be a rugby league genius to imagine that Balmain, when they won that scrum, would run the ball straight at Potter. Didn't quite get that far, but it was good tactics. Here's Schofield. Play right on the halfway. Bridge. Gale. Well, Potter's after him. He's got no hope. Here comes the Archbishop. It's gone inside to Stephen Humphreys. Humphreys scores for Balmain. Their 3rd try. Well, it's probably all very well to say it with hindsight, but Potter was a passenger. They had to do some reshuffling to accommodate him in his rehabilitation period, and it didn't help them as Gale cut them apart. And big Stephen Humphreys, look at those big legs getting over the ground. And the youngster picks up another 4-pointer for the Tigers.
I don't know that another player other than Mick Potter could have stopped this try, but it certainly didn't help Canterbury in their efforts to do so. It was a good break by Gale, and he's playing exceptionally well in this match. He made the initial split. He looks inside, and it was good support play by Humphreys.
So, 3 tries now for Balmain. 1 from 2 for Gary Schofield. And make it now. Oops, still 1 from 3. 1 from 3 for Schofield. That might be a costly one to miss. 14-0 in favour of the Tigers. You're watching the NEC big game. Steve Mortimer. Now it's Johnston. Mortimer. Hagan. Oops. The last taken. Stone indicated immediately that he saw it across the chest. Now he's calling timeout. The man on the end of it was John Elias. It looked to me like it got him flush across the chin. Whatever the referee's decision, John Elias isn't any the better for it. Looks at the referee and as if to say, do we get one? Stone says no. He's done going back. Elias hanging around the legs, and there's the siren. The end of the first 40 minutes. Very much Balmain's half. You don't need to be told that. 14-0 in favour of the Tigers. Here's Graham on the sidelines.
Well, simple tactics from Balmain. They wanted to play the ball out wide, and they're certainly coming up trumps against the Canterbury defence, which usually employs a left and right pattern in defence. So the men that have got to come up with all the answers in the second half are their inside backs, Michael Hagan, Peter Mortimer and Greg Mullane. And that, of course, is if it's not already too late.
We start down to Sigsworth, who came on to replace Potter late in the first half. 109 tackles for Canterbury, 90 for Balmain, Elias and Narkito, the 2 top. This match, the first in the second round of the Winfield Cup. Canterbury turning the corner in 3rd place. Balmain just out of the 5. O'Brien, 25 metres out from his own line. and the shadows that are thrown by the Ken Thornett stand here at the Parramatta Stadium playing havoc as they cast their shadows, and our cameras, of course, working overtime to keep up with it. The change in light. Hemsley to play it. Penalty goes to the Tigers, mainly against Kelly, it would seem, not releasing the tackle player.
And this penalty to Balmain continues the procession of possession that they've been fortunate enough to enjoy in the game. I think the story of the match can be detailed in that statistic. Balmain have had all of the ball. They had it in the first half. They knew what to do with it. Canterbury have had very little possession. The only way the Bulldogs can get back into this game is to get hold of the football and then treasure it.
His play now right in the centre of the ground. 22 metres out from the Canterbury line. Long ball from Benny Elias, finding Humphreys. Humphreys held on the 22. Through bridge. Myler. A drop punt or an actual drop kick?
I thought it was a drop punt. It was a fairly well-placed one too. It just went over the Canterbury Bankstown winger and gave Gartner some chance of getting it back. No, it was a drop kick.
It was a drop kick, all right. I don't think I've ever seen that before in rugby league. A player, I think he was just trying to get it over the top of the three-quarters from Canterbury. He used the drop kick.
Well, if he is adept at the drop kick, a good tactic could have been to post that 1 point with a field goal, because Balmain have been looking good in this match, but that extra point would have been something that they could have enjoyed. A good cushion at this stage of the match.
Play by O'Brien to the blind side. Dunn comes back up the middle, outside the 22. Elias getting a short ball away to Langmack. That was a pretty good example of a call that went very wrong. Steve Mortimer through to Hagan. Charge down, a chance for Hardwick. Yes, it's a try. A try for Gary Schofield. Canterbury looking at the touch judge, looking at the referee. They feel that the pass from Kevin Hardwick to Gary Schofield was forward. As far as the charge down is concerned, it was A-OK, no question. Schofield looked around as though it was a forward pass too. So there may well have been a hint of a forward pass in it. See it again.
There's no doubt there. The charge down's a play on, but Schofield did get himself up here. He hesitated, looked back at Mick Stone, realised that it was going to be a try and planted it under the uprights.
Yeah, even on that low-angle camera, it does seem that it was a hint forward, the try. And Schofield looked back like a thief in the night, saying, I've got the loot and I'm off. Are there any police chasing me? Brooks takes the kick for goal from right in front. Schofield gets his second try and Brooks kicks the goal. So Balmain now looking very strong, leading by 20 points to 0. Marquito. Gee, he seems to have been around for an eternity, Michael Marquito, deputising for the Balmain heavyweights. 1980, in fact, he joined the club, so he's in year 7. And this scrum will go down off the boot of Myler. They found the touchline. Midway 22 halfway, Canterbury's into the ground. You're watching the NEC replay of just another segment of their big game. Peter Tunks has gone to the sidelines with Graham Hughes. Let's go to them.
Peter, I think a very important question. Do you believe in miracles?
Oh, I think that probably at this stage, mate, you've probably got to say that, you know, it's going to take a miracle to get out of this game, but there's plenty of time to go. You never know what could happen.
Well, interestingly enough, Ryan was quoted during the week as saying that he always feared the Balmain side. They seem to have you in plenty of trouble out wide. Yeah, mate, they've got a lot of pace, you know. They always cause us a few problems, but they've got a few players out. We've got a few players out, but I expected really a better performance.
Here goes Gale. Gale, he draws them, finds Humphreys. There's Humphreys with his double for the day. Stephen Humphreys scores the try. Scott Gale again went into an opening. In fact, I thought to myself, once he got himself through the gap, nobody in rugby league, in my opinion, would run him down. But he so wisely thought, I'll draw and commit the Canterbury defence. Here it is coming across in the shape of Sigsworth. He gentled himself into him and then gave it to Humphreys, and Humphreys picks up his second.
If something's working for you, why should you change it? The pass that came to Scott Gale could almost have been intercepted. It wasn't. Gale had enough pace to go through the gap. He drew the full-back, fired the ball back onto Humphreys, and Humphreys goes over for the second Balmain try in 3 minutes.
So Canterbury back in the in-goal are having a rather urgent committee meeting. Got it away nicely. He's got it. Isn't it nice to see a straight up and down kicker? 26-0 in favour of the Tigers over the Bulldogs.
Canterbury ball. Played by Elias. Spread by Langmack through Mortimer. Put down by Hagan. Oh, gee. Canterbury, they've put it down so many times on the first or second.
Here's Steve Mortimer deciding to go himself. Better John Elias goes inside the 22. And Bugden has been felled in the back play.
He was hit in the back play, but there was nothing to it. It was a very, very, very simple love tap by Kerry Hemsley.
Now it's gone across and wide for Dunn. Five tackles gone as it comes back for Sigsworth, and now, well, Bugden's in the play now. And another turnover. Bridge trying to fend off Bugden, who came again to pull him down on the 22. Brooks and Johnston got a shoulder charge on him. Hardwick. Langmack makes the tackle. Johnston coming over the top, using whatever petrol he's got left, knowing that he's about to be replaced, I suppose. Sigsworth back for it on his own line. Oh dear, that's a knock on.
Well, if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong for Canterbury today.
Have a look at this from Phil Sigsworth. He's facing back to his own dead ball line, but that doesn't matter. The fact is that he's projected the ball towards his opponent's dead ball line.
Phil played tunnel ball with it.
Robinson second row. Peter Johnston comes off, so Dunn would have gone to the front row. Yes, in fact, you can see him on the near side. Kelly's been called out. Well, it looks like there's some allegations of biting going on in there.
Here's Kelly coming up out of the scrum, points his finger at Stone and says, "Excuse me, sir, have a look at this."
And Nick Stone was probably entitled to say, what was it doing there anyhow?
Campbell to play it.
Well, this was always going to erupt, and I'm sure Graham Hughes will be able to give us an worm's eye view, because this has continued on in the scrum after it's been won.
So half the players are playing the football, the other half are involved in the eruption that followed the scrum. Let's take a sideline comment from Graham.
Well, this is what I thought was going to blow up earlier on in the first half. It's been simmering, and a lot of frustration now with that scoreline of 26-0 in favour of Balmain. But once again, it's the front row combination, Ben Elias and Mark Bugden this time, that were having their own little private war in back players. I think we had one or two play the balls, and they just kept at it.
Graham, how much does this go back to the incident earlier in the match when Hemsley, or a lot of the Canterbury players, thought Hemsley had hit one of them with a high tackle?
Well, Bill, it went back well before that, even the first 2 or 3 scrums of the day. Both packs of front rows split up, and there's plenty of words and plenty of sledging interchanged between both. You know, I think it also goes back to the fact that Canterbury have been frustrated somewhat that Ben Elias has come up with 2 or 3 scrums against the feet.
You were saying that Peter Johnston or Paul Dunn had gone to the front row earlier, Graham. Was that to try and rectify that problem, do you think?
Yes, well, he did about 10 minutes into the second half. There's obviously problems there. Mark Bugden's been collapsing the scrum a hell of a lot. Peter Johnston is somewhat shorter in stature than Paul Dunn, and that was obviously why the change was brought about.
So Canterbury coming up with a penalty, and this is done now. Flung to the ground midway between the 22 and halfway. Canterbury's end of the ground. And the penalty goes to Canterbury against Balmain for lying on the tackle player. (26-0) in favour of Balmain, the NEC big game. Robinson, the wild bull of the Panthers. Nice time to be thrust into a football match. Your team down 26-0. There he is, with the shorter hair and shaven. John Elias. He's one of the lightweight second rowers going around, John. Gets through plenty of work. Here's a switch of play through Peter Mortimer back to Mullane. I think the first time I saw that rather exaggerated switch of play was when Warren Ryan was coaching Newtown back in, I think it was the 81 season. 5 tackles gone. Langmack inside and around. Good ball, Langmack. Sworth kicks. Bridge goes back to cover, and Elias puts it over the dead ball line. That was a beautiful pass inside by Paul Langmack. And that was the man in receipt of it, Sigsworth, who decided to kick, and then he got a good bounce. Benny Elias. Oh, Mark Bugden set him up. Robinson came in over the back, and the Elias-Bugden thing continues. The fuses have blown, ladies and gentlemen. And Benny Elias is still on the ground. Well, Bugden had Elias in his sights as Elias came through. He had one cocked and he let it go. There it goes. It was legitimate. As it came up on the head-on, it was a ball-swallowing tackle, if you like. But then, of course, the venom that has gone on between the two erupted again. Graham, you were sitting right smack bang on top of it. In fact, you might have felt the wind off it.
Well, we've been talking about it. We keep on repeating. It's been coming since the first half when these two were at it in the first few scrums. Mark Bugden could find himself certainly in the sin bin here. My mind, I did start to wander and follow a couple of the other players. I was watching Mike Perry, who certainly didn't want to have anything to do with Jeff Robinson, and Gary Bridge and Steve Mortimer looked set to go to it. Then I came back and Bugden was letting them fly from everywhere. Both players.
10 minutes in the sin bin for both of them, is it?
And they're still sledging as they come from the field of play.
Elias, good work. Hagan. Well, that's got me stumped why Hagan would turn around and go back there. He had a beautiful back line out. It's gone there now. There's the chip by Steve Mortimer. That came off his hand, and then it looked to me like he might have been held back. Of course, if he was, then he was entitled to a penalty, but number 15 has got the ball now, Jamie Davidson.
And number 25 just gone on for Canterbury. That's Billy Johnson.
And there's the siren. So Billy Johnson, in fact, has a big smile on his face.
First grade pay.
He was there for 3 seconds and gets a first grade check. Well done, Bill. 28 points to nothing, the score in favour of Balmain as we look down on the stadium. Schofield and Humphreys 2 each, Myler 1, Brooks kick 2, Schofield kick 1, Campbell kick 1.
Let's have a look at the full list of results now in this first round of play in the second half of the Winfield Cup. Illawarra defeating North 16-10 yesterday. Manly 25 defeating Canberra 18. East 25, Cronulla 2. Penrith 36 gave Wests a whacking 36 points to 8. Balmain 28. Canterbury 0, and Saints 18 back in the winner's circle, defeating South 12.
The Saints started their long march to the finals by bouncing back against the high-flying Souths. Brian Johnston and Colin Fraser did the lead-up for the speedy centre Chris Johns to fly over wide out for the first try. The Dragons went to the break 14-8 after Mick Beattie's innocent kick downfield led to a try. Neil Baker got a bad bounce but seemed casual in fielding the kick. Incidentally, Baker later left the field uninjured. Chris Johns came through to keep it alive before Brian Johnston celebrated his 100th game with the easiest of tries. South's only try for the match was a fluky effort which came after Craig Coleman's grubber kick had rebounded onto Bronco Tajura's foot, and he did the rest. The Saints sealed the match after the break when Chris Johns looked certain to score. And from the play the ball, Jeff Selby found Big Steve Funnell, who capped off a top game with a try that wrapped it up for the Dragons. Funnell scores a try in the corner to cap off an 18 points to 12 win for St George. 1 win down, 8 to go.
At Seaford Oval, Manly and Canberra turned on a thriller after a Cliff Lyons field goal gave Manly a 1-0 lead. Ivan Henjak sliced through after running onto an Ashley Gilbert pass and bullocked his way towards the touchline before unloading to Craig Bellamy. Manly came back strongly, though, with Mal Cochrane having a fine game. He continually worried the Canberra defence, and this try to Cliff Lyons put Manly back in front. Seesawing first half, the Raiders went to a 10-7 lead after the big prop forward Sam Bacco followed through on a bomb. But like they've done so many times this season, the Raiders fell away in the final 15 minutes of the game and Manly stormed away to win 25-18.
Penrith's backline ran right at the foothill of the mountains with Brad Izzard having a great game. Here he goes in for one of the Panthers' 5 first-half tries. The match was virtually all over by half-time with Penrith leading 18 points to 2 as Clements goes over. The Panthers' tremendous territorial advantage continued in the second half thanks to poor defence around the rucks, exploited by Alexander and co. Tempers flared, though, in the second half with 2 players being sin-binned for 10 minutes after this all-in brawl. They were Penrith's Brandon Lee and West Lee Crooks. West Jeff Gillen was sent from the field later in the half. When West Trevor Cogger scored his try, the horse had already bolted.
At the Ronson field, the Roosters came up with the first try after Laurie Spina went through a yawning gap before sending Tony Melrose away to score. East scored again at the 24-minute mark, and then with 5 minutes remaining before half-time, when Brad Testman found the open spaces for Gary Prom, giving East a handy 14-2 lead at the break, and the Roosters were really setting Ronson alight. East scored the only try of the second half, and it was Gary Prom's second.
The final score, East 25, Cronulla 2, with Tony Melrose contributing 13 points. Sweet revenge for the Roosters after their first round loss to the Sharks.
The premiership table tonight shows the Eagles on top of the competition ladder on their own on 22. Then it's Parramatta and Souths in the top 3 on 20. Canterbury just out of the top 3 now on 19. Penrith 18. And then just out of the 5, Balmain 16. North Saints 14. West 13. East Illawarra 12. Canberra Cronulla on 8. Next week's matches, West play Norths, Balmain versus Canberra, Cronulla Canterbury, Penrith East, St George Parramatta. That's at the cricket ground next Sunday. Should be a good game. Manly has the bye. And then on Monday night, Illawarra plays Souths. That's all we've got time for this week in our presentation coming around to you in around 7 days. Of course, the highlights of the second state of origin between the Blues and the Maroons from the Sydney Cricket Ground. That together with all the other rugby league that you've come to expect. That's it for this week of Rugby League. On behalf of Winfield, we hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you next week.